Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. This is James, and in this video, let's talk about the trolley problem. As far as The Walking Dead, the ones who live, we're talking about General Bill, a little bit about Okafor, some of the decisions that they made. It's like a conundrum, I guess, a moral dilemma of sacrifice. It's an ethical quandary, and there's few scenarios that elicit as much contemplation and debate as the infamous trolley problem. It's a thought experiment often used to explore moral decision-making, and it's extended to the complex world of military leadership in this video. We have to imagine a high-ranking general, or almost any rank, I guess, with their finger on the trigger, but faced with a heart-wrenching decision of sacrificing innocent lives, including his own men possibly, to protect the many. This scenario brings forth a profound moral dilemma where the justification for such actions becomes a battleground for ethical reasoning and the preservation of greater interests. As in The Ones Who Live, we learned Okafor was one that had to choose, but Major General Bill had to choose also. Okafor killed some Marines, including his wife, to save a city of hundreds of thousands. Major General Bill decided to sacrifice Pittsburgh to save Philly. So sacrificing possibly 100,000 people to save a couple 100,000. And then, of course, his decision to take out Omaha and Campus Colony and potentially wanting to take out Portland. Now, those decisions were maybe not trolley problem stuff. The real, I guess, things you could point to trolley problem comparison would be Okafor for sure, split-second type decision, and Major General Bill's decision against Pittsburgh. So it's not exactly the same thing, but it does fall into the same general, I guess, category of ethical quandary, right? So the trolley experiment, it's a trolley problem, a philosophical conundrum. It comes in many forms, but a very simple example, it involves a runaway trolley, no brakes, right? Headed towards 5 individuals tied to a track. The participant is asked to decide whether to divert the trolley onto another track, sacrificing one innocent individual, maybe tied up as well, to save the 5. It's a thought experiment. It serves as a foundation for exploring the moral complexities of decision-making in situations where lives hang in the balance. And of course, that may be over half of the decisions you have to make in a zombie apocalypse, right? So do you pull the lever and let the train kill one person, or just do nothing and go ahead and let it kill 5? There's a lot of little things you could add into the situations, of course, like single person is a baby and those 5 people are 5 older people. Maybe sacrifice the older people over the baby, or that one person is someone that you love, a family member, and the 5 people are strangers. So, there's the little things, especially if it's a split-second decision. What do you do? It does make you think. It is a thought experiment, and it can take you to crazy places when you really start getting into it. I remember I had a couple professors from a college I was friends with, and we sat at a bar one night talking about the trolley problem like for hours. But of course, it's not just in thought experiments. One place that we've been applying it to, and not really justly, but applying it to, is autonomous vehicles. I was just scrolling through TV the other night and only watched a couple minutes. I don't even know what show it was. They were in a courtroom and the lawyers were arguing against a computer guy about the code of an autonomous vehicle. The vehicle's going straight ahead. A tree falls in front of it. It can either swerve to the right where there's a car of 3 people injuring them, swerve to the left, there's a car of 2 people, or keep going straight forward and probably kill the driver. What decision does the car make? And I didn't watch the whole show and see what they figured out. So, they have to try to code into a computer, what decision do you make in this instance? And, rarely does any type of instance like that ever come up. It's actually very rare of anything even of the sort, because cars usually have brakes and they work. Hit the brakes. There's most of the times a safe way to swerve. And actually most of the time, the code and what the car has to decide is to save the driver. The driver's the one that's in peril probably more than anybody else as far as the decisions the car is going to make. But you apply that to military leadership and try to transpose the trolley problem onto the battlefield, we're entering like a realm where high-ranking military officials are burdened with decisions that echo the moral paradox of sacrificing a few, including their own men, possibly, to save many. And, I would think that's probably in battle, in war. Military officers, high-ranking officers like the generals and stuff, they do have to make those decisions. It's not exactly a trolley problem most of the time, like Okafor had to deal with maybe in that moment. But they do have to make decisions like, okay, A lot of men are about to die, and I got to give that order. But of course, war always brings unintended consequences and stuff, and there's the pursuit of the larger objective, to win, protect the nation, the citizens, preserve peace. And in The Walking Dead's case, of course, trying to stop a zombie apocalypse. We see that in the book World War Z. Not as much a trolley problem, but they do have to make a decision, and it is innocent lives that they have to sacrifice to win. Is there a moral justification for this, for a high-ranking general to make a decision like Major General Bill did? With Major General Bill, he used these stats, 14 years, this is going to happen, starvation, disease. He used a lot of different things to try to, justify his decision. And like I say, this is later on about Portland and stuff, which isn't really a trolley problem, I don't think. But it is a decision to wipe out friendly combatants, if you want to say it that way. A general or anybody, could use excuses. This is a necessary means to prevent a greater tragedy. It's an imminent threat to national security or the lives of a larger population. The general may say, well, it was the concept of the lesser evil. But it's a moral dilemma. Despite any potential justifications, the moral dilemma faced by the high-ranking general or whoever's in that situation remains palpable. The weight of choosing to sacrifice innocent lives, including his own men as far as the general, for the greater good is an agonizing burden that challenges the very core of human ethics. The tension between the duty to protect and the obligation to preserve innocent lives, even among your own ranks, it creates a crucible where a general must grapple with profound consequences of their decisions. Major General Bill talked about that a little bit. He said he takes full responsibility for his decisions when he was talking to Rick at the fence. But as we explore the thoughts about the trolley problem, the decision Okafor made, the decisions Major General Bill, of course, those last few decisions about Omaha and Portland, that's just a crazy guy. I think, power goes to his head, going by what a piece of paper says, like some kind of stat, instead of really looking at it and putting humanity to it. It's a moral dilemma, and of course looks at the challenging decisions individuals in positions of authority may be forced to make. I can't even imagine having to make a decision where I have to choose between these people or those people dying, and then it happening knowing I made a decision that caused those people to die. So, my good friends out there, we have to contemplate the justifications, the ethical reasoning behind these decisions. We have to reflect on the delicate balance between the preservation of many and the protection of individual innocence. Because, it's the harsh reality of the world, right? It's just a harsh reality that sometimes these things come up. War does happen. It's happening right now. It's happening inside neighborhoods just with people fighting each other. It's happening with nations fighting each other. Big decisions may have to be made. The trolley problem, I think, is very interesting. We can definitely discuss anything about that. Okafor's maybe paralleled the trolley problem, his decision, better than Major General Bill's overall. In the end, I think Major General Bill was just a crazy person killing people. We can definitely flesh that out a little bit more because there's a lot of other concepts out there. You can think about the golden rule, treat others as you would like to be treated. It's a fundamental ethical principle, but out in nature, out in the wild, that kind of goes awry pretty quick if someone's always trying to steal your stuff or kill you. In a zombie apocalypse, the golden rule is kind of, but we've got survival of the fittest. We got the law of the jungle. There's a lot of things, natural processes versus human ethics, conflict, cooperation. Just a lot of things to talk about, a lot of angles to it for sure. But hey, you guys let me know what you think about it. I'd love to hear it down in the comments below. And I'll join you there. This is James in Nashville. As always, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more dead stuff.